Hello, dear friends. Here we are. 30 days of good news with the Master. And this is day 26. Yeah, look at this. 26. Peter's denial. Oof. Peter's denial. Mamma mia, these chapters are very challenging. Hello, Jussara. Thank you. I think strawberries are gonna help us go through this because Humberto de Campos, he increases the levels of difficulty in terms of therapeutic exercises as we move to the end of the book, because now we're more prepared. Now we have got to know new lessons, right? Adilson and Angelita. Good to have everybody here. It's interesting. We are here at midnight, the dawn of a new day, the opportunity for renewal. And it reminds me of a message by Emmanuel titled Letter to the New Year. And he talks about new year, new day, an opportunity to begin anew. How often are we doing this? And one of the topics he mentioned is about the need for reconciliation, especially with the self. In this chapter today, as we march towards another night of therapeutic realizations and deep inner knowledge, we're going to see that there is a way for us to overcome obstacles regarding self-love and the love for others, as well as the love for God. Hello, Solange. Love the flowers. Valeria, big heart of gratitude. And Raquel, thank you, my friend. Rita, Di Cassia, thank you for coming here. Ready, friends? This book is titled Good News, yet to be published in English, but the Portuguese version is there, the Buena Nueva in Spanish is there as well. We're just missing the English. So let's keep praying, hoping 2017 is gonna bring us good news, the real good news, the book. Happy New Year, by the way. Hello, dear Felicia. Good morning, good morning. Ready, friends? This chapter is about Peter's denial. Remember yesterday we were reading about those moments in which Jesus was gathering together with the disciples, talking about the crowning moment, which was his humility when he was washing the feet of the disciples, right? Oh, and you're right, Shosara, the Boa Nova, or Good News, is already published in Finnish. Lucky them. Blessed our day, right? So why not in English? We're coming. Wait. Let us begin. Humberto de Campos, the amazing writer of this book, through the fantastic mediumship of Chico Xavier, wrote this book to us for educational purposes. And we are not here as scholars of the New Testament. We're not here talking about let's investigate the history, but the most important, we're extracting the therapeutic elements to fulfill the promise that Jesus shared with us, the consolation, the Spiritist mission to console ourselves with the light of discernment. And we begin. The Messiah's act of washing the feet of his apostles left Simon with a sense of incomprehension. Simon Peter could not understand. What is it that the Master is washing our feet? The old fisherman did not agree with such an extreme act of submission. And when it came to his turn, he very firmly said, Master, You will never wash my feet. My companions are being ungrateful and hard in this instance, letting you practice this act as if you were a common slave. Ay, 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 Peter. What happened after he said that? What happened? Hello, Chris. What happened? Simon gazed at the assembly with a look of disapproval and disdain. But Jesus answered him, Simon, you should not want to be better than your apostolic brothers in any of life's circumstances. In truth, I assure you that without my help, you will not share the supreme joys of redemption with my spirit. Pause, not too soon, to stop for an inner journey exercise. Shall we? Hello, Katia. Hello, Fred Gouveia. Good having you here too. Friends, an exercise. Very deep and very important. You know that you and I are children of God. Whether we're more evolved than others or not, God doesn't love us any better. And God doesn't love us more today than yesterday, or will love more tomorrow. God loves us, period. It's unconditional. We know it. But what about the illusion that we have? That we, for some reason, were better than others, and we feel like we need a different treatment, or we want to, be original. And it's interesting, because who is actually original in this life? Only God, because by principle, He's a creator. The creator creates things that are original. The co-creators will never be original. You see how our educational system is failing us? Because when we take God out of the plate of our educational system, even the education of the intellect, we have these problems in the logics. Because when we get to know we're co-creators, it's a twofold empowerment. One, first it tells us you don't need to stress yourself trying to think too hard how to be original, because there is no such thing. And second, you don't have to make an effort, because in the sense, efforts such as like I'm gonna create something, because we never create anything, we co-create, and all we have to do is to surrender and allow God's love to operate through us so we can co-create in harmony. So our goal is not to be original, but to be harmonious, to be in true synchronicity with the one and only God, so we can be good co-creators. And André Luiz, in the book Evolution into Worlds, another book that is already translated and awaits its publication in English, he talks about the fact that when we are co-creators, there are levels. There is a level that we're being major co-creators or minor. We're still at the minor level, but there are levels. We can increase it. The major levels are the ones like the spirit architects who build planets in the universe, galaxies and stuff like this. The engineers. But for us, we are co-creators. So what is important for us is to ask ourselves, are we trying to be better than others? How do I know? Easy. When somebody asks a question, remember, you are in a group. Somebody asks a question. And then when you're about to respond, you want to say something that is like unique, or try to come from another perspective just to show that we are different. In a way, that's pride and vanity. We don't want to go there. Doesn't mean we don't want to work and strive for progress. We do, but with humility, knowing that we're not creating anything, that we're co-creating. It's much easier. Do you feel how much easier it is? João Bosco is telling us, it's love, God is love. Hello, Rudy, and hello, Célio, and Lisette. Friends, here is Peter trying to be better. You see how Jesus is loving but firm. He's an educator. You should not want to be better than your brothers in any of life's circumstances. Here we have it. Resolution for the 2017 year. I don't want to be better than anyone. I can progress and strive for progress without that hidden agenda. I'm doing this because I'm competing. I'm doing this because I want to be better. Jesus was teaching through Peter a lesson to us. We're doing things because it's right to do it. For the love of the good, that says Leon Denis in the book After Death. He says we need to strive to do things because of the sacredness of doing the good. Hello, Renata. And ensure that we are going to team up with Jesus. Without him, without his Christ consciousness code, we cannot progress. Next, the old fisherman of Capernaum calmed down, silencing the voice of his nearly childlike generosity. When they finished the lesson, they returned to his place at the table. The master appeared to meditate somberly. It's so interesting. Umberto de Campos is revealing to us things we never imagined. Jesus is meditating somberly. Remember, he was in a human body too, and he was living the earthly disposition. Not saying that he was somber, but he was like focused. Soon after, sensing their lack of understanding, and you understand when I say focused, meaning somberly because he was considering what was happening on the behind the scenes. He's not like a La La Land master that is like seeing what's going to happen to Judas and others and Peter's denial and everybody else, and he's going to be, oh well, okay, take me to prison, take me to the cross, etc. No, he was really feeling it, right? Hello, Braulio. That's wonderful. You're from Chile. Beautiful, beautiful country, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us. So, here we have, soon after, sensing their lack of understanding, the disciples' lack of understanding, the master looked upon them with sad piety. Pause. Do we lack understanding? Yes, on a daily basis. We're still short-sighted. We still can see. I remember somebody at the SSB one day when we were sharing Mentor Joseph's recommendations, and this great friend of mine said, Vanessa, I confess to you that often I like the ideas, but I think sometimes these ideas are ahead of me. I can't yet grasp it, but I respect it. And I want to help and fulfill it, but my understanding doesn't get there yet. It's so interesting because I feel that sometimes. I do too. When people are at the vantage point of the top of the mountain, they can see things we can't from other lower levels of the mountain. And we cannot tell them if they are saying, I can see a cow. And I look around from a lower level of the mountain and say, you're crazy because I'm not seeing a cow. You see, that's the analogy so we understand. Jesus could see things far and away. We, the disciples, we still don't get it. For example, when he talks about forgetting offenses and loving enemies, many people are like, that's for Jesus, not for me. No. He is educating us. It's for us too. That's why he brought us to this realization. So it's very interesting because when we lack understanding, he's going to look at us with compassion. He's not going to judge us, but he's going to be sad. And you know why? Because it's action and reaction. He then stated the following as to make them understand that his spiritual vision surpassed the events that were to unfold soon. You see, his spiritual vision, we're talking about the mountain, which is actually an analogy that was given by Kardec in the Spirit's book. And we're just bringing that analogy here to make us understand that some spirits are more evolved. They can see farther away their spiritual vision. And maybe our level of evolution does not follow through it. But Jesus, understanding that, he said, close is the hour of my final testimony. See, he was not suffering any expiation because it was his first incarnation on the earth. I know that all of you will be dispersed at the supreme moment. What a prophetic statement. That is natural, however, considering that you're not prepared but to learn. Why is he saying this? To humiliate the disciples? No. He is a loving educator, and he's telling us, when you miss or drop the ball or miss the boat, remember, you're still learning. You're not ready yet. So when people come to us, for example, in our daily lives, they say, I am reading all these books, or I go help people, but when it comes to the real challenges of life, I still fail. I think I should give up. No, don't give up. Because you're learning. You're creating a pattern, and it begins from thought to spiritual body to physical body. And when you don't see the manifestation of the actions, etc., it's because at the very source of our mental body, we still need to work on it. Work on it. Work on it. Jesus is so loving that he brought an antidote against guilt. Because the disciples are going to feel guilty. And he's like, when you deny me, when you disperse, it's because you're not ready yet. Because you're learning. You're still learning. Valid. What a loving teacher. That is natural. But before I go, I want to leave you with a new commandment. That of loving one another as I have loved you. We can't yet grasp this love, but we need to. What love is this? He loves us so much that he is taking care of each one of us. No doubt. Look at his life. But he is recommending that we love one another as He loved us. What a powerful statement. Homework. Homework. You remember when I mentioned once that there is this beautiful card deck. It's a deck of cards, affirmations, by Louise Hay. And she has one beautiful affirmation that goes hand in hand with these teachings of Jesus, asking us to ask people in our lives, how can I love you more? You know, why not? Don't be shy. Ask your loved ones, how can I love you more in 2017? And they may turn their heads like, what are you talking about? You know, how can I love you more? Oh, can you cook more? Okay, is that how you're gonna feel that I'm loving you more? Okay. Oh, can you help me with my homework? Can you help me with my work? Can you help me with this and that? Yes. And ask friends and family members, how can I love you more? Friends, how can I love you more? Let's think about this. Hello, Lisdelia, Supermom. Hello, Rosa. Oh, how can I love you more? My friends, how can I love you more in 2017? Let's think about this and keep that in mind so we can love one another like Jesus loved us. He loved us and He loves us deeply. He's recommending that we do the same. After all, He's the guide. He's the model. He's saying, if I did this, please do it too. How can you love more the employees in your company? How can you love more the neighbors of your surroundings? How can you love more the people in your country, in the country where you're living in? How can you love more? How can we love one another more in our spiritist centers, in our churches, in our communities? Ah, Carol, thank you. And Mark, they are sending a message. Yes, friends, how can I love you more? By watching Virginia, friends. For one whole night so I can sleep. Moments of confession, forgive me. But you, says Jesus, will not be known as my disciples due to your superiority in this world, not by demonstrating spiritual powers, nor by the clothes that you wear in this life, but by the revelation of the love I have for you, by the humility that should adorn your souls, by maintaining a good disposition in self-sacrifice. Friends, Jesus is saying, you not be my disciple by being superior to others in this world. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. We don't need to be celebrities. We don't need to be powerful, materially speaking. We don't need to be super powerful spiritually either. Oh, but Chico Xavier and Divaldo Franco and Dalai Lama and Gandhi, and they were Jesus' disciples. You're asking if the Dalai Lama and Gandhi, they were not Christians? Of course they are Jesus' disciples, because Jesus is the governor. And they are the ones who teamwork with Jesus to bring us this message. It's just a different name, but it's the same universal teaching. Right? Read the book On the Way to the Light by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier, and we get to know that every single religious thought came from the same source. The same understanding. Okay? All right. So, the revelation of love I have for you by the humility that should adorn your souls and maintaining a good disposition in self-sacrifice. So these are the features of the ones who follow Jesus. So 3, the revelation of the love I have for you. So how are you going to reveal Jesus' love for you towards other people? I'll give you an example. Okay? Rihanna is saying it. We must just serve. Katia, hello. Friend, today I was talking to somebody and they were saying, I don't understand. My wife, she had stuff to do, but then she decided to take a friend of ours to the bus station instead of working, and I don't understand it because the person who was being taken to the bus station is used to taking the metro, so she didn't need to go all the way. And then we explain to the person, look, to really serve people is from the perspective always of those who are in greater need. So between your wife, her needs, and the person who was traveling, the needs of that person, who was in greater disadvantage? The person who was traveling. Then, what would you like to receive if you were on that person's shoes? I would like that the wife of my friend actually takes me to the train station or the bus station, so I don't need to take the metro. That's it. You see? As simple as that. It's not about, oh, but that person is used to the cold. No. But if you were homeless in the street, what would you like that people do to them? To you, if you're homeless? If I put myself in the shoes of other people, I know what to do in the best possible way. Hello again, Felipe. We just saw each other in the Spiritist Center of Virginia. It's good to have you here too. And self-sacrifice. Good disposition for self-sacrifice. What are we going to sacrifice? Our ego. Noting that once more Jesus had made farewell recommendations, Peter displayed his restless temper and asked impulsively. You see, when we're not there yet, we're impulsive. After all, Master, where are you going? I'm smiling and I'm laughing because Peter is sweet in his naivety. He is. We also don't understand the whole 9 yards of it all. He asks for us. The Master looked at him serenely, intending to show Peter that he was interested in Peter's curiosity. What a master. He didn't say, Peter, don't you know yet? Well, isn't that why he's the master? He's teaching. He needs to be patient. He's patient. And he's loving. You are not yet prepared to follow me. The covenant is one of sacrifice and of extreme selflessness. And only later you come to possess such indispensable fortitude. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Today, during the past session at the Spiritist Center of Virginia, Mentor Joseph was saying, there are many people here, Vanessa, who come and they think they're far from actually committing to the works of goodness. But sooner than they imagine, they're going to be committing to unimaginable levels. And then I asked Mentor Joseph, why you're saying that to me? He said, so you never forget to keep investing on them and giving them a chance. Because in God's eyes, every single person in this universe is very promising. Very promising. So if you look at somebody and you don't trust their potential, remember, they are children of God with unlimited potential. Who doesn't have unlimited potential? And this is what Jesus is telling from an educator's perspective. You don't tell somebody, oh, because you don't know how to do this now, you never know. No. According to education, we learn as we apply ourselves onto that direction. It takes time and effort. Time and effort. Repetition. And he was saying, today, you're not there yet, but you will. Loving Master. However, wishing to prove the value of his education, he added emphatically, wishing to impose himself. And, can I not follow you? Perhaps, Master, you doubt my courage? Then, am I not a man? I would give my very life for you. He doesn't understand what Jesus is saying. Remember, Jesus says the spiritual vision is there, ahead. And Peter is still here. He can't see it. He doesn't understand. But Jesus is seeing already what's going to happen. But he sees that Peter's going to overcome the obstacles. Right, Julija? You're right, Rihanna. Beautiful lesson. And then Christ smiled and pondered. So when Peter was saying these things, I'll give my very life for you, he said, Peter, your restlessness is worthy of new teachings. Experience will teach you to arrive at better conclusions, because in truth I affirm to you that this night the rooster will not crow without you having denied me 3 times. And then Peter felt offended. Man, if people feel offended with Jesus, when they feel offended with me, I'm safe. Because I'm like, really? He felt offended by Jesus? Naturally, people may one day or another feel the same with us, but we're not Jesus. So if the Master went through this, why will it not happen to us, right? Are you judging me then to be such a poor and callous spirit? You see, he is not mature yet. That's what happens. Sometimes you talk to a kid and you say, don't touch it. And depending on their age, they're like, I'm going to touch it, because they're in the age of rehearsing their individuality, their authority. But when they grow older, more mature, you say, I don't think you should touch there. They're not offended. They're like, oh, okay. I didn't know. I thought I could, but I understand. It's dangerous, right? You see maturity. And the Master replied with sweetness. You see, he's smiling to Peter. Peter is all exacerbated. He is feeling offended. And what does the Master do? Apply sweetness. Look at this. Offense, sweetness. Good pairing. Offense, somebody's offended. And he's saying, but you're telling me this. And you come with sweetness. Sweetness. You don't defend yourself. Jesus didn't defend himself. And in no point of this conversation, he's saying anything to defend himself. He's always focused. He's not taking anything personal. Go back to the dialogue and see. He is not taking offense. He's not taking personal what Peter's saying. And he's educating, he's giving back. There is an actual book that is yet to be in English, but Carol and Mark from Kardec Radio for Kids, they actually, you can hear the story if you go to kardecradio.com, click on Kardec Radio for Kids, you go to the link that shows the several episodes that happened, and there's one about the kissing hummingbird, which is based on a book by the author Adeilson Salles. Fantastic book. And in this book, it talks also about this. When the little hummingbird is facing the big ego, literally, ego, and the ego is threatening, what does the kissing hummingbird do? Exactly what Jesus did. Kissed. That's why he's the kissing hummingbird. He kissed the ego, the bird, ego. And the ego stopped. She felt herself loved. She couldn't go any further. It's exactly the message of Jesus. Somebody comes feeling offended, you return with sweetness. Sometimes they're like, even kids, it works. They come like, Mom, you turn off the light. And then they're, and you're like, come here, let me give you a kiss. And then you start tickling them, and you start playing with them. Why power struggling? There's no need. Hello, Gustavo and Osvaldo and Sol. Thank you, Sol, for shining on us. And Jesus, the Master, replied with sweetness, I do not think of you, Peter, as ungrateful or indifferent to my teachings. However, you learn today that the man of this world is more fragile than evil, than perverse. Yes, my friend Julija, these are good words, good teachings from the Master for better relationships and better life, because our lives are basically our relationships, right? So what happened next, friends? What happened next? Let's see. Peter did not want to accept the Messiah's statements. As soon as Jesus was taken to prison, he couldn't understand it. So we know the story, right? As soon as he was taken to prison, there were 3 times, and I'm just going to cut short this part because kind of we all know, he actually denied Jesus 3 times, right? And sensing the hostility that was coming about, he protected himself by saying that he had nothing to do with the Messiah. When people were asking him, aren't you one of the companions of this man? You're mistaken, I'm not, he would say. And then he was pondering it. And it's very interesting that he was pondering it, and he was pondering it, and he couldn't understand how he denied Jesus, because when the crow came in the middle of that night, he actually realized Jesus was right. I denied him 3 times. He couldn't believe it when Jesus said it, but it happened. Did it happen because Jesus made him believe it? Of course not. Of course not. When the night fell over, he clearly, in all those circumstances, he was being clearly exposed, and it was threatening in a way. So now we understand with the teachings by Umberto de Campos that Peter was more fragile. He was not evil. He didn't deny Jesus out of being ungrateful. Jesus was right. he was feeling afraid. We have to stop and look at ourselves now. How often are we like Peter? We know what is right, but when it comes the worldly dispositions, we deny the most important part of our lives. Are we like Peter? We love Jesus, but when it comes to the daily lives, I'm like, no, I can't be like this. Because people are not going to understand. They're going to think I'm a coward. They're going to think that I am this, that, and the other. And we're denying. Not meeting Jesus, but we're denying the following of the Christ consciousness. So the bottom line is, are we like Peter? In our workplaces, in our neighborhood, the people we encounter. We don't need to say ostensively, hello, I'm Christian, hello, I follow Jesus. But it's about the choices. For example, the Amish. Let me give an example. Extreme but true. The Amish. When they had the little kids in school, and a man of the neighborhood entered that school and killed several of their kids, what did the Amish community do? They forgave the man. And not like in words simply. You can Google the case and you see they forgave him completely. They were feeling for the family of the man who also died but killed many kids. So we need to ask ourselves, how often we're going to know of this and not do it? Some people say they're Christian, and then they look, I remember an adult looking at Virginia, my daughter, she's 3, talking to her, and you know, children are shy, or they don't immediately talk to adults whom they don't know well. And then she said, I said, say hi, Virginia. And she said, I don't want to talk to this person. She was polite, but she was truthful. And I said, I'm so sorry. And the person was not offended, but the person stated, very interestingly, how often are we like this? Okay, Virginia, but the day I want to talk to you, maybe I'm not going to reply to you. She was joking with Virginia, but that's a lesson for us. How often are we childish like this? Like Peter. We're being asked to follow through and go through the testimony, but we don't. But later, he learned a lesson. He learned it. He pondered about the first negative answer, and and then the second happened, and the third, and then Peter recalled the words of the Master, and was overcome by an infinite anguish. He stood up. That's beautiful. Body language. He stood up, tottering, and instinctively looking to the cell in which the Master was being held. He saw the serene face of Jesus contemplating him through the cold, thick bars. Stood up, meaning he started overcoming his own remorse, because that's exactly what happened next. A prey of unspeakable remorse, the apostle left ashamed of himself. And then we feel ashamed. The minute we deny all of it, we feel ashamed. Because it's so easy to follow through, but we don't. Easy in the sense of like surrendering to love, right? Caesar, he's here with us and he's saying, When he denied Jesus, he was in a dangerous situation. You're right. Yeah. If he actually said he was the disciple of Christ, he could be incarcerated. And Jesus knew it before it happened. It's so beautiful. Right, Caesar? Beautiful, 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 the combination of it all. But we need to ask ourselves, oh, but the world, Vanessa, is not going to understand me. The world, it doesn't matter. It's between you and God. And God is our first and most important priority. Love God, even if people don't understand. And love is not like by words, it's by helping people without distinctions. After a few steps, he reached the city walls, where he began to weep bitterly. He was weeping bitterly. Who hasn't experienced that, right? He who had always been a stern, resolute man, who had consistently condemned the transgressors of the truth and of the good, he who could not forgive the most unfortunate women, there he was, dejected as a child in the face of his own wrongdoing. He began to understand the reason for certain painful experiences endured by his brothers and sisters in humanity. Wow! There began to flourish in his spirit a source of new appreciation for the unfortunate in this life. He wished anxiously to kneel down in front of the Messiah and beg his forgiveness for his painful fall. I'm impressed. Jesus is such a beautiful master that he not only gave Peter an antidote for his shame and remorse, but he also gave the explanation, saying, you're not ready. Remember, people are more fragile than good. But he would only know it for real when he went through his own moment of wrongdoing and understood that people not necessarily do things wrong because they are evil. It's because they are not experienced, because they are not knowledgeable yet in terms of spiritual understanding, like ourselves. Beautiful. He began through his pain to understand others' compassion. There began to flourish in his spirit a source of new appreciation for the unfortunate in his life. He wished anxiously to kneel down in front of the Messiah and beg his forgiveness for his painful fall. Through the veins of his tears that obscured his eyes, Simon Peter experienced a consoling vision. He imagined that the Master had come to see him in spirit in the solitude of the night, that same serene smile on his lips as he had every day. Serene smile every day. This is our Master Jesus. Serene smile. Can you portray it? Serene smile. Before that comforting and divine emotion, Peter knelt and murmured, Lord, forgive me. But at that moment, he saw nothing further amid the confusion of his anguished thoughts. Bright white moonlight bedecked the desolate alleys. That's when the old fisherman reflected more soberly, remembering Jesus' warnings when he said, Peter, the man of the world is more fragile than evil or perverse. How often we go through experiences in life in which we think we're doing the best possible thing, and then we realize it's not. And here we have Jesus telling us, through Peter's heart, that when we're allowed to go wrong, we gain humility and in compassion. Two facets that really teach us to love. We can only love others truly when we have humility. If I think I'm superior, I'm not loving. I'm inferior, I'm not loving. And compassion. Knowing that God allows us to make mistakes. Why are we going to punish ourselves? So through Peter's mistaken choice, though it was dangerous, though this and that and the other, we can't forget he made a choice, and the denial represented to him a failure that marked him for the rest of his life. That failure was a constant reminder of humility and compassion towards others who were in need and suffering. Thank God we make mistakes. Thank God. Sincerely. Because when we're allowed to make mistakes, I'm not saying we should make mistakes, but when we genuinely do it, we need to learn how to be more loving to ourselves and work consciously, like Paul of Tarsus, to overcome it all and repair the wrong with the good. That's it. Can you believe it? This chapter is very intense, but our main lesson was covered. Where are we regarding how we react when we make a mistake? Do you punish yourself harshly? Or have you already found a way to forgive yourself? We need a toolkit to go through those days when we realize we have made a big mistake, and we can go there with the light of Jesus' discernment, with his love, and heal us, accept us, knowing that everything shall pass. It's temporary. Hello, Ricardo. Good seeing you here. And hello, Jackie. Friends, mistakes are beautiful opportunities to build more compassion and humility. God is wise. We're allowed to make mistakes. The only thing we need to do is to open the path for a new beginning and not make the same mistake again. But if we do 3 times, remember, 3 times, recover. What a lesson for parents, for educators, for ourselves, for leaders of company, for everybody. Jesus knew the disciple was going to make the same mistake 3 times. But he said, I understand. You're learning. And you're fragile. You're going to be the rock. You see, what a beautiful understanding. The parallel. Peter is going to be the rock, the foundation of Christianity. But Jesus is sharing this teaching about the fragility of ourselves. To become a rock, we need to work on our fragile selves. How? By being united with God. Never forgetting we can't punish ourselves because we're children of God and God allows us to make mistakes. All I need to do is to exercise compassion towards others who also make mistakes and humility before the greatness of God, knowing I'm not perfect. As we say in the United States, made a mistake, big deal. Now fix it and don't do it again. Are you ready to go to sleep and keep studying and working in the spiritual realm? Are you ready to continue your day, my friends, in the other hemisphere? To continue your beautiful day towards a new beginning? Yes? All right, friends. So, it's a joy to be here. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone who is here with us. And until tomorrow, God, providing chapter 27, the Garden of Prayer. Woo! Big hug and kiss. Lots of sweetness from our hearts to all of your hearts.